In this video today, we're going to talk about constipation. And sometimes the subject of, how many times you poo each day can be a little uncomfortable. But how often should you poo? What is constipation? And what is normal bowel habits look like? For everyone, it's going to be different. But if you're constipated, it can lead to so many different health problems. And so we'll talk about what constipation is and some remedies to help you alleviate constipation, not just now in the short term, but for long-term good gut health. Hi, I'm Michael from 𝗟𝗏𝗕𝗏. I work with functional medicine testing to find out the root cause of your health issues. Not everyone needs this detailed testing, but starting with the basics, diet, lifestyle, and if those types of things don't work, then some of the tests that we do may help you. So let's talk about constipation. If you haven't seen a Bristol stool chart, I'll show you one here. And they've got constipators rated from type 1 to type 7. Type 1, you've got severe constipation with small, like sheep's pellets or rabbit pellet type of stools. Difficult to pass often, and you could even be going every day with this type of constipation, but it's only a small amount each day, and that's still constipated. Type 2 is more formed, but it's still small and lumpy. Then you got type 3, which is more of a sausage, and type 3 and type 4 is probably the more ideal, and with type 4 being the perfect type of stool you can get. Type 5 is more soft blobs and it's not clear-cut edges. And then you've got, mushy, soft serve type of stool, which a lot of people can get. It can be very sticky and mushy and not quite diarrhea, but it's definitely not a well-formed stool. And then you've got diarrhea, which is basically just liquid stools. And sometimes people can have a combination of all of these. Sometimes it's predominantly one or predominantly the other. If you're getting changes in stool habits, it could be more to do with small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So there's a number of different causes to constipation. It could be just a lack of fiber in the diet. It could be lack of hydration, just not getting enough fluids. It could be a lack of movement if you sit all day and don't walk and exercise. So these are some of the first things you want to try. Adding more fiber into your diet. But for some people, they can add more fiber into the diet and they actually get more constipated. So if you ever tried adding, Metamucil, psyllium, those types of things, and it just blocks you up, the fiber can be really good for gut health. But with constipation, if it bulks it up, you don't have that nervous system control, you don't have that motility to push through the stool, it just becomes more stuck and you feel more constipated. So for these people, they need to work on the nervous system side of things and not just adding more fiber. Fluids is going to be important, exercise is going to be important, but things to help with stress, the nervous system, which we'll talk about later. So the main symptoms of constipation are things like infrequent bowel movements, the hard, dry, lumpy stools, draining during bowel movements, just not feeling like you're completely evacuated, hemorrhoids, getting, bleeding, and abdominal comfort, bloating and pain. And bloating is one of the biggest things I see with people that makes them take action because they just feel so uncomfortable all the time. And constipation has the potential to be something more serious. So if you're losing weight, getting a lot of blood in the stool, it's always best to get, medical attention. You may need a colonoscopy or something like that to sort of rule out anything more sinister going on. So besides constipation and that bloating, uncomfortable feeling, constipation can also lead to many other symptoms because you're not fully evacuating, you're not eliminating toxins like you should be. Constipation is also associated with things like anxiety and depression. Poor gut health can affect the production of neurotransmitters that regulate mood. Autoimmune condition because of leaky gut and chronic inflammation. Fatigue, toxin buildups, poor nutrient absorption can lead to low energy levels and just feeling fatigued and no energy all the time. Skin issues like acne, rosacea, psoriasis, eczema, they can all be associated with constipation. And once again, it comes back to that poor elimination of toxins. They start just coming out of the skin. Estrogen dominance, so if you have PMS and menstrual cycle issues, estrogen can get recyclated back into the system because of high levels of beta-glucuronidase. So constipation is a big factor with that. Small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, or SIBO, can be a cause of constipation, but constipation can also cause SIBO, so it can become a vicious circle. So there's a number of different causes of constipation, and getting to that root cause is the key. So if you have constipation, what do? First thing is diet and lifestyle, fluids. So adding in more fiber-rich foods. Some of the fruits that are really good are things like apples, berries, kiwi fruit are excellent. More vegetables, especially variety of vegetables, is excellent. Whole grains like rice and oats can be really good, beans and legumes. And if you react to these types of foods, you may have to go to a more low FODMAP type of diet. And we'll put a link in the show notes to how you can find out more about that. Adding more fiber-rich supplements like psyllium husk, sun fiber, acacia fiber. These fibers can actually help with bulking up and helping the stool move through more easily. Once again, if you get worse symptoms from adding more fiber, you need to look at the nervous system side of things. Making sure you're drinking plenty of fluids is super important. Getting enough fats in the diet and getting enough movement and exercise, they're all the key steps. So if you've done all that and you're still constipated, meaning you're not getting 1 to 3 bowel movements a day, and you're not in that perfect Bristol stool 3 to 4 range, then the first supplements that I would look at adding in would be magnesium. Magnesium in a dose of 300 to 450 milligrams a day, or even twice a day, can usually be enough to help that nervous system, that motility, and get everything moving through like it should be. And the good thing about magnesium is it's not habit forming. Most people need more magnesium anyway. Magnesium is super important for stress, sleep, which is why I normally recommend people add it just before bed to help with, good quality sleep and then having a bowel motion in the morning. But for some people, they need to add it 2 or 3 times a day. Magnesium citrate is a good option to help with bowel motility, or even magnesium oxide. If that's not enough, adding extra vitamin C or some herbal medicines like Ayurvedic herbs like 𝗟𝗏𝗕𝗦𝗖𝗥𝗑𝗕 are excellent. If you've done all that and you're still constipated, this is when I would do more advanced functional medicine testing. Tests like the GI map test from Diagnostic Solutions, the 𝗟𝗜𝗞𝗘 from Vibrant Wellness, they can help to guide us on the underlying cause of your constipation. Are you lacking the enzymes? Do you have parasites or bacterial overgrowth? Are you just lacking the good bacteria? And maybe probiotic therapy is something that's really important for you. So the 𝗟𝗜𝗞𝗘 or the GI map test can help to take out the guesswork and helps practitioners like me customize a plan just for you. So foods that you should avoid if you have constipation. Not everyone has to cut out things like gluten and dairy, but they're common triggers. So I would look at cutting out dairy products like cheese, milk for a month and see if things improve. At the same time, cut out wheat and gluten products. Gluten is often not everyone has an immune response, or they're not celiac, but gluten can also cause constipation and to slow down that motility. I normally recommend, instead of cutting out one, like dairy first, then gluten, do them both together. It's often easier, and if you're reacting a little bit to each one, you may not get full resolution. So other foods to cut out besides gluten and dairy would be just processed foods, sugars, just eating a nutrient-dense whole foods diet. Alcohol can be a problem as well. It can dehydrate you. Excess caffeine and coffee can be a problem. Coffee can also be excellent. Coffee can, a coffee in the morning can help actually stimulate the bowels and get things going. You just don't want to sort of survive on coffee all day. An easy at-home test to track your transit time is the sesame seed or corn test. It's where you take a tablespoon of sesame seeds or corn, mix them in some water, swallow them down without chewing them, and they'll go through your digestive tract undigested. So ideally in the next 16 to 30 hours, you should see these little polka dot sesame seeds or the corn in the stool. If you're still seeing them come out 48 hours plus later, you've definitely got slow transit time. Even if you're having a bowel motion every day, this slow transit time, you may have the symptoms of constipation and this very slow transit time. And that can cause a lot of these skin problems, anxiety, depression, other chronic health problems that I mentioned. So that's an easy test that you can do at home if you can't do one of the more advanced stool tests I mentioned, like the 𝗟𝗜𝗞𝗘 or the GI map test. Stress can also have a big impact on bowel function. So if you're feeling really stressed, that can lower the digestive enzymes, slow motility down. So doing breathing exercises, just going for walks, yoga, abdominal massage, these are all things that can be additionally helping with constipation. And sometimes it's not one cause, but you've got to work on all these little aspects like the diet, the hydration, the stress management, adding in things like magnesium, maybe short-term probiotics or 𝗟𝗏𝗕𝗏 or something like that. Depending on the results of your stool testing, we can really customize a plan for you. And sometimes constipation could be a sign of something else going on, especially in older people. If you start suddenly getting constipation, it could be something like the early signs of Parkinson's disease or multiple sclerosis, or diabetes, where the nervous system function's been affected. So If constipation is something that's sort of developing later in life, getting more testing could be a good option for you as well. So if you've got any great remedies for constipation, put them in the comments below. If you've liked this video or if you want to find out more information, check out the show notes. We'll have links to everything we've mentioned. And don't forget to like and subscribe.